What's up, world? What's up? How you guys doing this evening? Hopefully this video finds you in great spirits, in great health, and dominating everything that you touch. It's your boy Top Dog. For those that have been to the channel before, welcome back. We certainly appreciate you. Continue to like, comment, share, and one other thing that I forget to mention on each of these videos, hit that notifications bar. So each time we put out a video, you'll be notified right away. For our newcomers, come on in. We love to invoke thoughts. We promote higher levels of understanding. We aim to elevate and motivate so that you can go out and dominate and be the person that you were born to be down here on earth. We don't operate out of scarcity. We operate out of abundance. So I have a subject matter that I want to discuss on this evening. Come on in, kick your feet up, and let's get loose. Okay, guys, today's subject is in lieu of tax season. I'm seeing all of these memes out here, and I'm seeing everybody, doing what everybody else does. Where's the taxes? I can't wait till Uncle Sam come. You got all of this stuff going on about the taxes. And I'm just shaking my head as I see this stuff because I recognize everything that I need to know about people that make posts like this. You're piss poor mentally. You have a piss poor mentality and you have a poverty mindset. No person that's investing in themselves should be sitting up talking about waiting on taxes. You should already have a plan for that money so that whenever it comes, it could come in July or September, but whatever it comes, I have a vehicle that I'm already getting ready to place that money in. If that money has already burnt a hole in your pocket, I can guarantee that your piss poor self was going to burn through that money in less than 2 weeks. Because you've already made a mental note of everything you're getting ready to buy, which is going to just make rich people richer. You're not going to invest in yourself. Most of you are not. You're going to make the upper 5% more money, even more money than they have, because they're selling these products that you want to go out and buy. Do your research on it. These upper 5% own these companies that you're going out and making these purchases, trying to do what everybody else is out here doing what other people do, and you're just making them richer. And the irony of that is the upper 5% are finding ways to not pay taxes. They aren't paying taxes or they're paying very little. Do your research. These Fortune 500 companies, these Fortune 25 companies, they're not paying taxes like you are. They're finding ways to get out of paying taxes because they're smart and they're not mentally enslaved. I recall a song that Jay-Z put out a couple of years ago. It was actually DJ Khaled, but Jay-Z hopped on it and said, "Niggas always asking me the key. Why are we still slaves?" In that time, it was 2016. But why are we still slaves in 2020? Because of our piss poor mentality. Because of our poverty mindset. Doesn't cost you anything to make a decision and then act on that decision. It doesn't cost you anything. So what's the problem? It's that you want to do what everybody else does, but we don't do that here. We go against the grain and we're going to put out information that hopefully. Now, I want to give you a quote from a billionaire, Warren Buffett, and I want you to write this down. Warren Buffett says, if you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, you will work until you die. Now, let's break down that word residual income, because it's much different than the 9-to-5 transactional income. There's a big difference. Residual income is just like he said. Residual income, you're making money while you sleeping, While you snoring and slobbing on your pillow, money's coming in. This is stuff that's coming in every month, and all you got to do is go to the mailbox, pull it out, and put it in the bank account. And with today's new technology, you can get Zelle the money. You can, you know what I mean, Cash App. There's a lot of other ways that you can get your money now without the paper check. So things are changing. But anyway, that's residual income. That's pajama money. That's money you making in your sleep. Now let's talk about the transactional piece of this. Transactional, you're only getting paid one way. One way, not multiple streams of income like the millionaire mindset thinks. I got to have multiple streams of income. Not one way, but I need several ways to make my money. This is how the rich do it. But you're settled and content on just making transactional W-2 waged income. What happens when you run out of vacation time for the year and you don't go to work? You don't get paid. W-2, anyway, to speak on that a little bit further, you work there's 52 weeks in a year. How much vacation time are you getting? Mostly like 3 weeks. So you've worked you work 52 weeks in a year and you only get 3 for vacation. Do you find that fair? Or is that a little bit uneven? Right? To me, that's a little bit uneven. So I'm doing everything that I can to avoid that. And you should be too. So I've changed my mindset about taxes a long time ago. I got a vehicle for that tax money to go in, to bring me more and more transactional income and multiple ways of making money instead of just one way. I got LLCs out here. I have businesses established. I have 2 right now. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you how to go about doing that. You go and do your research. You know, doesn't cost you a whole lot of money to start an LLC and become a 1099 worker to where you can write things off. Instead of the government taking money from you, you give the government money that's left over after you deduct all of your expenses. Now you see how that works? A W-2 wage worker has money taken from them, and then once the government invests it and makes all the money that they want to make off of it, they give you a portion back. But as a business owner, you give the government money left over after you deduct all of your expenses. And I'm not going to go into all of the many ways that you can deduct. I'm not going to do that. Go do your research on that, or we could talk about that another time. You know, put your comments in the comment box. If you want a video on that, we'll make a video about that. Investing, the many ways you could write things off, you know, all of those different types of things. We'll talk about that at another time. So there's the concept. You're talking about residual income versus transactional income and the multiple streams of income. When you getting this lump sum of money, instead of letting it burn a hole in your pocket, why don't you change your mindset from being piss poor and poverty stricken? You know, you want to be in poverty all your life, or you want to live the wealthy life that you were supposed to live. You're not supposed to live in poverty. Nowhere is that written. If you're following the Bible, which I don't, but nowhere, and if you're reading that Bible, nowhere in there says that you're supposed to be poor. Everything speaks about that you're supposed to be the head and not the tail. You're above and not beneath. So why won't you change your mindset if that's what you're following and that's who you believe you are? But that's the problem. Most of you guys don't know who you are. Most of you guys don't know the power that you hold. Most of you guys are driven by fear. Most of you guys are easily to give up on your dreams because of distractions, because your mindset is not right. So that's why we're still slaves in 2020, because most of us have not changed our mindset. Now, let's talk about the 40-40-40 Club. I've mentioned this before in videos that I've done, so I'll tell you again for those that don't know. The 40-40-40 Club is where you work 40 years of your life for 40 hours plus per week, and then go retire off of 40% with less than 40% of your income. Is that you? Is that where you want to be? Because I don't want to be nowhere near that. First of all, I'm not working 40 years for nobody. Helping them for 40 years reach their dreams and potentials? No. I'm going to do for myself. And you should have this mindset because you can do for yourself. I'm not talking to people that are in a comfort zone and are happy with being in that comfort zone. To each its own. But I'm an entrepreneur. At heart, I always have been. And now I've aligned myself up with my purpose. And I know who I am. I know what power that I hold. So can't no job hold me. Can't no job satisfy me. I know who I am. I know that I can make what I'm making in a year. I can make that in a quarter. That's boss talk. You want to be a worker the rest of your life? Be a worker. But a boss knows that you can make your yearly salary in 1 quarter. That's what I'm on. You making 6 figures, you can make 6 figures in a quarter. Why would you settle for making 6 figures in a year if you know that? But you don't. You don't know who you are. So therefore, you go in and you fall into the 40-40-40 Club. But let me give you an example of what happens when you follow that script and when you follow that system. You ever walked into Walmart and you saw the greeters coming in? How old are they? Most of them people are in their 60s and their 70s that were following the 40-40-40 Club. Do you think that in their prime, they were saying, oh, I'm finna go work, then retire, and then go back to work? Do you think that that was their plan? Or do you think that something happened that they weren't prepared for, and now they're gonna go back to work? Because that job is not going to set you up in a way to where if you haven't put all your ducks in a row, you can't stay retired. You can't. You got to go back to work. Something's going to happen. But if you have residual income never stops. Residual income keeps on coming. Here's a term that I want you guys to get familiar with. Compounding. Compounding is how you turn a little into a lot. See, most of y'all out here thinking, man, I got to have thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to invest the way that I want to invest. Well, that's strictly not true. You're just uneducated. You don't spend a lot of time reading. You don't spend a lot of time doing research. And while I'm on that subject of research, I've heard it said by many people, and to a degree, this is true. I've heard it said that everybody don't need college. This is true to a certain degree, but I'm going to tell you this. College teaches you how to critically think. College teaches you about so many things to educate yourself versus being non-educated. You can make a living doing a job, but you'll never get wealthy working no job. There are no $1 million salaries. Look it up. There are no $1 million salaries. Do your research. So why dedicate your whole entire life, 40-40-40 plan, to end up at Walmart? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. It can make sense to you. You go ahead. You get it on how you live. Okay, let's move on to residual income versus residual bills. All of y'all under the sound of my voice have residual bills. Those things are coming through whether you like it or not. You own a home, you got a mortgage. You rent, you got rent payments. You have a car, you got a car note. You got lights, gas, garbage bills. You got all of these bills that are coming in every month, whether you like it or not. If you don't have some that I just named, you got others. You got some type of bill coming in every month, and you got to pay it. So why wouldn't you set yourself up with residual income to offset those residual bills? I'm going to give you a couple accounting terms. Accounts payable, accounts receivable. You all are not realizing that you are running your own Fortune 500 company within the company that you're working for. You got accounts payable, you got accounts receivable. Economics, right? You have assets, you got liabilities, you got things you own, you got things that are, that's a balance sheet. That's what goes on balance sheets and income statements and things like that. You're running a Fortune 500 company right up underneath your nose, and you don't take it serious. You don't even realize that you're doing this, or you're so content with helping somebody else build their dreams, and that's cool. We need workers in the world. I need employees too. So if that's what you're cool doing, fine. I'll hire you, and you can come help me build my dream. Fine. That's cool. We need workers in the world. I'm not discouraging that. But for those of us with the entrepreneurial spirit that I'm aiming at right now, then we think in a different way. But it's levels to it. Don't get discouraged. If you say, hey man, I love my job. Man, more power to you. Do your thing. I don't love mine because they can't hold me. They could never pay me enough. They could never appreciate me they could never pay enough for my intellectual property. They could never pay me enough for that. So I'm going to build my own dream. You're not going to be able to hire your children in that company. You can't go to that company and say, I want my child hired today. Unless it's your own. I can hire my child today. I can hire all of my children today. I can put them on payroll now. Why? Because I own LLCs. I own my own business. And for those of you that's out here wondering, yeah, I have a 9-to-5. But my mindset is shifted, and I've given myself an end date for that now. Because it can't hold me no more. I'm too much of a giant right now. I done broke the chains of slavery mentally. So they can't hold me anymore. Right? So I'm done with that. My mindset is done with that. So we talked about a lot tonight. About a lot. So what's your decision going to be? Are you going to start today? Are you going to keep telling yourself that next year is the year? Are you going to keep doing that to yourself, lying to yourself? Or are you going to start now and start where you are? Are you going to continue to let false events appearing real run your life? Are you going to continue hanging around the same group of people that ain't investing either, that ain't doing nothing with their money either, but doing the same thing you doing? Or are you going to get another circle of investors and say, hey man, let's pool this money together, and if we can do a little bit with a lot. Or we can do a lot with a little. We can pool our money together, and we can open up a business, and we can be off the ground and running. I'm talking about people you trust, people that you say that's in your circle. But if everybody in your circle ain't on nothing, then why are you hanging out with these people? You got to be around people that say, man, I got this business idea. We can start this up today if you want. Let's get on it. Let's do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. What you waiting on? Oh, no, man, I'll do that next year. Lying, you're going to get that tax money next year, and it's going to be gone again, and you're going to be sitting around looking, making your New Year's resolution again, talking about what you're going to do, and ain't going to do nothing because your mindset ain't changed. You still living in scarcity. You still afraid to make the move. You don't know who you are. You ain't spending time personally developing yourself, so you'll never know who you are. The average CEO in a company makes 315 times what the average worker makes. Doesn't that sound strange? You doing all the work. Your intellectual property is being exploited. But he makes 315 times what the average worker makes. Now, what type of sense does that make? And you're happy with working there 40 years? You're happy with that? You can't be happy with that. And if you are, again, like I said, if you are, more power to you, but I'm not speaking to you right now. I'm not speaking to that type of audience. I'm speaking to the entrepreneurs and those with the entrepreneurial spirit that really have it deep down inside of them, but don't know how to cultivate it, how to bring it out. You got that feeling, when you at a job and you're not being appreciated, and you are smarter than your counterparts, you're smarter than your boss. You're an entrepreneur. You don't really jive with people telling you what to do and telling you when you could take your vacations and when to clock in and when to clock out. That's the entrepreneurial spirit that's inside of you. How you gonna get started? This is a way. You got a bunch of money that it was out of sight, out of mind for the whole year. You get it, and you start to invest in yourself and start hustling for your legacy. And stop living in the moment and trying to be like everybody else. So I hope this video was helpful. As a matter of fact, I know that it's going to be helpful for a lot of you guys. Again, you want to discuss certain subject matters, drop comments in the comment sections, and we'll get the videos out as soon as possible. And before I go, I want to leave you with one final thought. You can either master the concept of leverage, or you can continue to be leveraged. I want you to let that sink in for a minute, because a lot of you are out here being leveraged. You're being leveraged right now by the government talking about these taxes without a plan. Without a plan. You should have plans for that money every year. And besides blowing it, some of y'all just blow it all without no regards. You don't put aside a couple $100 for yourself, nothing. You just blow it all. I guarantee you in March, you won't be hearing nothing else about how people hey man, I took my taxes, man, and started me up an LLC. Now we up and running. I bet you won't see any of that on social media, because that's not the mindset of our people. But I aim to change that. So again, guys, thank you. We appreciate you on the channel for continuing to tune in. We know you could have been anywhere else in the world on this time, but you chose to spend a couple minutes with us and hopefully enlighten yourself and grow into the powerhouse that you are. You are a powerhouse. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are more than a conqueror. Think about that for a second. To conquer something is already good enough, but you're more than a conqueror. So you can do this. You can turn your life around. You're never too old to start. You're never too young to start, but you need to start where you are. And you need to let go of that fear, and you need to let go of that piss poor mentality, and you need to let go of that poverty mindset and have the billionaire's mindset that says, if you ain't out here trying, if you ain't out here making money in your sleep, you working until you die. And this man has billions and owns stock in almost every sector of our economy. And he's telling you this. And you won't take heed to it? Listen, we taking advice all day long from people making $50,000, $60,000 a year. But let me ask you this. What can a person teach you that's making $50,000, $60,000 a year. What can that person teach you? How to make $50,000, $60,000 a year. But if you are taking advice from a billionaire, the least you can do is become a millionaire by default. So start taking advice from millionaires, billionaires. Get around people, get around millionaires so you can understand their thought patterns, so you can understand how they think. If you're around Joe Blow all day making $25,000 a year, what you gonna do? He don't want you to grow. He don't want you to go higher, so he's gonna keep you there. Hey man, let's go to the store and get this fifth of liquor and get blasted today. That's what he wants you to do. Because they comfort level. Don't know. Hey, if I'm miserable and broke, I want you to be the same way too. Or I'm gonna hate on you because I don't want you to grow. If you start doing things a little bit differently, you're gonna lose some people. That's what you want to do. That's the aim of the game. Because they ain't gonna understand your new thoughts. They ain't gonna understand your new way of thinking. They ain't gonna understand you not wanting to be piss poor no more. They ain't gonna understand that you don't want to be in a poverty mindset anymore. So make your choice. Take them taxes, man, that you so thirsty to get, and make some investments. Make some sound investments. Put some money into some vehicles that are going to make you some money. So thanks again, guys. Until the next video.